Hello, guys. What a great day to be covering the daily current affairs. We have so much to cover. We have so much to know. Please stay with me till the very end. Now, we have to cover so much, as I told you. Citizenship Amendment Act 2019 rules will finally be notified. And this was something the Prime Minister wanted to acknowledge and address the nation about. But it was later on said that he wanted to talk about Agni 5 because he tweeted congratulating the scientists of DRDO for the successful flight of it. Anthropocene, penicillin G, Namo drone, DD scheme, sea space, ghee as a livestock product, and methane. We have so much to cover, guys. Let's go with it. With respect to the Citizenship Amendment Act of 2019, consider the following statements. One of the qualifications is to acquire citizenship is that a person must have resided in India or been in central government services for the last 12 months and at least 11 years of the preceding years. It applies to the whole of India, and now religion has become a basis to obtain citizenship. So, what do we have to see? How many of the statements given above is or are correct? See, if we talk about the Citizenship Amendment Act of 2019, it amends the Citizenship Amendment Act of 1955. This you have to remember because a distraction could be created talking about 2003. So, it is 1955. Now, according to the Citizenship Amendment Act, there are certain basis on which one can obtain citizenship in India. So if you are a person of any religion now, any religion as in I'm talking about if you're a Hindu, if you are a Sikh, if you are a Jain or a Buddhist, Jain or Buddhist. Thereafter, if you are also a Christian or a Parsi and you belong to any country from the three countries that I'm going to enlist, that is Bangladesh, Pakistan, and Afghanistan, then you can get a citizenship here. And that was the entire fiasco was about it that why aren't Muslims given citizenship here? See, the basic rationale of the government was to provide citizenship to those who were seeking shelter and who were already residing in India because they were persecuted on the basis of their religion in these three countries, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Afghanistan. So they were staying in India since time immemorial. And now they wanted to get the citizenship. So that is why this was the basis. Muslims generally, we have case of Ahmadiyya Muslims in Pakistan, but Muslims in general, they are not persecuted on the basis of their religion because these countries support one specific religion. That was it. And one of the qualifications is to acquire whenever one wants to acquire citizenship, if they belong to these three countries, any one of these countries, and they are of these any one of these religion, then they have to ensure that they have resided in India or been in the central government services for at least 12 months and at least 11 years for the preceding 14 years. Okay, they were residing for 12 months. They were not to and fro from here and there. So first is correct and third is also correct. In addition to other basic categories such as birth, registration, descent, naturalization, and incorporation of territory. These were already mentioned in the Citizenship Amendment Act of 1955. Now, religion has become the sixth category to obtain, citizenship in India. It applies to the whole of India is incorrect because in the sixth schedule we have Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, and Mizoram. Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, and Mizoram. Here, this particular Citizenship Amendment Act will not be working because these are sixth scheduled states. Also, wherever inner line permit is required, there also it is not going to be applying. So, second is incorrect because here it is written it applies to the whole of India, which is incorrect. First is correct, third is correct, second is not correct. How many will be correct? Two only will be correct. Now, CAA has been implemented, rules have been notified. Now, it all comes down to what kind of law and order situation we might get. Consider the following statements. The Agni 1 to 4 missiles have ranges from 700 km to 3500 km and they have already been deployed. Then the next one is Pakistan has developed and repeatedly tested its multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicle technology. A multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicle can work only on intercontinental ballistic missiles. So we have to see how many of the statements given above is or are correct. So if we talk about Agni 5, which is based on the specific technology that we are talking about, multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicle. It is such a good technology. You won't believe that from one particular place, it can launch targets for multiple areas. and that is why it is being seen as a deterrence to countries such as China and Pakistan. So here, if we know about it, then these countries have already tested this kind of technology. So India needs to ensure that it is working correctly in line. So that is why we have this particular technology. The multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicle Agni 5 will be fitted with it. Also, one thing we have to ensure that it's not that only particular continental ballistic missiles have this technology. In fact, it can be put across various missiles. Intercontinental ballistic missiles are those which are used to go across continents. And if we talk about Agni 1 to 4 missiles, they have ranges from 700 to 3500 kilometer. But Agni 5, which is based on the multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicle, it is comparable to Dongfeng of China. Let's talk about it. So if we talk about Pakistan, Pakistan has already done it. China has already done it. So of course India has to do it too. So second is definitely correct. The Agni 1241 one is also correct. They have ranges from 700 kilometers to 3500 kilometers. The Agni 5 will be more than 10,000 kilometers in range. And Pakistan has developed and also repeatedly tested its multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicle. We will be able to reach countries such as China and Europe and many parts of Asia with this particular technology. A multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicle can work only on ICBM? No, that's not correct. So third is incorrect, second and first are correct. How many will be correct? Two only will be the correct answer. Let's move on. Prime Minister recently has praised Mission Divyastra. Okay, and this will be first flight test of Agni 5 missile. The best thing about it, we have to acknowledge this, that the project director is actually Tessie Thomas, a woman, and she is also known as the Missile Woman of India. So we are extremely proud of the women of India, and this is true women empowerment. The Agni 5 project is actually aimed at bolstering India's nuclear deterrence against China. Recently, China also suggested that we must be ready for any warfare with India in the Indian Ocean region. So, like Dongfeng of 41 of China has ranges between 12,000 to 15,000 kilometer. Agni 5 is going to be the same. It will also be having capabilities to strike regions as far as Europe. My goodness. The Agni 1 to 4 missiles have ranges from 700 kilometer to 3,500 kilometer. The age of India has arrived. Nobody can deny that. With respect to the history of the earth, consider the following statements. Homo sapiens evolved during the Holocene epoch. Currently, we are in the Meghalayan age. So, which of the statements given above is or are correct? One only, two only, both one and two, neither one nor two. Guys, Homo sapiens actually evolved before the Holocene epoch. Also, we have to keep in mind that we were already, whatever history we have, recorded history of human beings, it is only from the Holocene epoch, but we evolved much before that. So that means the first statement is incorrect. Currently, we are actually in the Meghalayan age. Second is correct. So which one is correct? Two only will be the correct answer. Recently, a group of 18 scientists have said that Anthropocene cannot be termed as any sort of age. Anthropocene is the age which, many scientists thought that it can be slated as a different kind of age. And since the arrival of the human beings by the usage of fossil fuels, by the usage of nitrogen, different sort of activities started to take place on Earth. And that is why it should be seen as a different age. But 18 scientists have said that no, it cannot be seen as an age, although we can look at it as an event. So in 2000, Paul Crutzen and Eugene Stoermer, they introduced the term Anthropocene. Anthropos means related to humankind, and it suggested a distinct human epoch, emphasizing human influence. And those supporting Anthropocene, they argued that since humans have arrived, the activities of human beings have significantly altered the earth, marking the onset of geological epoch. In 2009, the Anthropocene Working Group consisted of 37 researchers. They started discussing when the Anthropocene epoch might have begun. Many said that it should be from 1952 onwards, but now it cannot be seen as an epoch. It has been finally said no. So we know that the age of the earth is divided into eon, era, period, epoch. So this is in descending order. Keep this in mind. All right. And if we talk about the epoch we are going through, it is Holocene, and it started 11,700 years ago. If we talk about it, then of course we have to keep in mind it began at the end of the last glacial period. In the last glacial period, 25% of the Earth's Earth's area was covered under ice. Keep that in mind. Also, if we have to talk about the current situation, we are in Phanerozoic aeon, in Cenozoic era, in Quaternary period. Epo is Holocene, that started 11,700 years ago, and the age is Meghalayan. So this has to be remembered by you all. Okay, so average temperatures fell to 8 degrees Celsius, and the expansion of human beings began in the Holocene epoch. Also, it witnessed Earth's warming, aligning with the emergence of the spread of human beings. Homo sapiens actually evolved before the Holocene, but all of humanity's recorded history is within this epoch only. With respect to the pharmaceutical industry in India, consider the following statements. India never manufactured penicillin G. Penicillin G will be shortly manufactured by India. It has poor oral absorption. India still imports 90% of APIs, active pharmaceutical ingredient, for antibiotics, and nearly 70% of all the APIs. So what do we have to see? How many of the statements given above is or are correct? Okay. So if we talk about penicillin G, we did it. In the 1990s, we stopped it. Okay, we were stopped basically because of China. China became so competitive that it dumped its goods in the market, the penicillin as an active pharmaceutical ingredient. It dumped the markets at much cheaper rate. So India was left behind. If India used to sell paracetamol 4,000 or 400 or whatever rupees a kg, China could do it for just like 200. This is a hypothetical situation. So penicillin G will now shortly be manufactured by India, but the problem is it can be given as injectables because it has poor oral absorption. You cannot eat it properly, or if you eat it, but it will not be absorbed by your body properly. India actually still imports 90% of its active pharmaceutical ingredients for antibiotics, and for others 70%. So we'll talk about that, what are APIs and everything else. So yes, first statement is incorrect, second is correct, and third is also correct. So what will it be? It will be 2 only. How many are correct? Only 2 are correct. Remember that. Let's move on. After 30 years, Hyderabad-based Aurobindo Pharma will begin producing penicillin G by mid-2024. In the 90s, around 5 companies, including Torrent, they manufactured penicillin G in India. But because of the influx of cheaper Chinese products, they flooded the market in India, and that was very, not very competitive for the domestic industry. Penicillin G is actually a crucial ingredient in manufacturing of many common antibiotics. What is it and why is it used as an API? Whenever one uses an API, it becomes the main ingredient of a drug. If a drug has to work, it should have an API, that is active pharmaceutical ingredient. And like many other APIs, this was phased out because Chinese products flooded the market. So people started buying Chinese products. The last plant that was closed on it was Torrent Pharma in Ahmedabad. Now, according to the US, penicillin G is a narrow spectrum antibiotic, and it is used to treat several bacterial infections. Keep that in mind: pneumonia, meningitis, gonorrhea, syphilis. But because it has poor oral absorption, it is generally administered intravenously or intramuscularly, and it may have some side effects in some patients. So it is not totally free of side effects. The production linked incentive scheme has done greatly for the manufacturing of penicillin G, because this scheme will provide incentive to companies based on increased sales. If you have increased sales, it will be very good for you. It envisages support of 20% for the first 4 years, 15% of the 5th year, 5% of the 6th year on eligible sales of fermentation based bulk drugs such as antibiotics, enzymes, and hormones such as insulin. There has been a decline in API imports since the launch of the PLI scheme, so this can be used for it as well. Let's move on. OTT platform C-Space has been launched by which of the following states? Karnataka, Kerala, Telangana, or Andhra Pradesh. Recently, this will be a government-backed OTT platform, because democratization of content is very important. So if we want to make sure that content is democratized, so we must ensure that people reach out to it, not on the basis of money or fee, but on the basis of accessibility. So democratization is there of content. So this has been done by none other than Kerala. So B will be the correct answer. Keep that in mind. Let's move ahead. Kerala CM has launched state-owned OTT platform C-Space. It will be worked by the KSFDC, which is a state-owned company. This will take care of C-Space. It is a response to the challenges in the OTT sector addressing content imbalances. The platform will operate on pay-per-view basis. For any content, you can pay as high as 75 rupees or lower for other sort of content. Let's move on to the next one. With respect to the Namo Drone Didi scheme, choose the incorrect statement. It is a central sector scheme that aims to empower women self-help groups by providing them with drones. The scheme aims to provide sustainable business and livelihood support to 15,000 self-help groups. For the scheme, 90% SHG should comprise of women. The maximum subsidy amount is rupees 8 lakh per drone. So the correct answer would be, because we had to select the incorrect one, the first one is correct, that it is a central sector scheme. It is going to help self-help women's group, and to get eligible for it, one must get registered. The self-help group must get registered. 70% of the SHG, if it is comprising of women, remaining 30% can be men or other genders. If it is there, then these are eligible. So C is going to be incorrect because here it is written 90%. It aims to provide sustainable business and livelihood support to 15,000 self-help groups. Maximum subsidy, remember, it will be done on a rupees of rupees 8 lakh per drone. So the Prime Minister has recently praised Namo Drone Didis for their innovation, sustainability and self-reliance. This is a central sector scheme which aims to empower women SHG by providing them with drones for multi-purposes. 15,000 selected women SHGs are there. For the period for which the scheme will work will go from 2023, 2024 to 2025, 26. Remember, because these can be asked. The scheme also involves collaboration between government departments such as Department of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Department of Rural Development, Fertilizer, and also lead fertilizer company. 80% of the central financial assistance will be given to women SHGs for purchasing drones and related accessories. These can raise the remaining cost through the National Agriculture Infra Financing Facility. Maximum subsidy amount is rupees 8 lakh per drone. Next is, which state in India is the highest milk producing state during 2023, 2022-23? Okay, the correct answer would be, if you have to guess it, but the correct answer is option D, that is Uttar Pradesh. This week, Supreme Court has affirmed that ghee is actually a livestock product. In 1994, the Andhra Pradesh government notified the Andhra Pradesh Markets Act of 1966. And this was to simplify and update the laws governing the buying and selling of agriculture produce, livestock and related products, which also listed that ghee is a livestock product. So it wanted to establish interconnected markets so that middlemen can be cut out in the process and farmers get the benefit of it. But a group of livestock producers challenged the notification, and they said that ghee is not a product of livestock and therefore cannot be regulated. But the recent ruling by the Supreme Court has said no, it is actually a proper livestock product. Now it can be taxed. So milk production in the country is actually estimated to be 230.58 million tons for 2022-23, and this is an increase. Also, highest milk producing state during this year was Uttar Pradesh. Okay, remember, because that will be asked, that can be asked in your UPSC paper. With respect to methane, consider the following statements. Methane is gas that is found in small quantities in atmosphere. Over a period of 20 years, methane is 80 times more potent at warming the carbon dioxide. Mangistau region of southwestern Uzbekistan has seen one of the world's largest methane lake. So you have to tell me which of the statement is or are not correct. Now this is a comment question. That means you have to comment the right answer and tell it to me. I will announce the names of those students in my next class who will answer it correctly. Thank you so much. I would like to tell you that please share this video as much as possible. You will get the PDF of it on my Telegram channel, for which the link will be given in the description box. Thank you so much. Bye bye everyone.